Albert Einstein was a famous physicist and has been called by many the most influential person of the 20th century. Some of his most well-known achievements include the establishment of light as a particle and asserting the relation of mass and energy with his famous equation E=mc². Albert Einstein was born in Germany in the year 1879 into a middle-class Jewish family. In his school years, he was fascinated by science and math, but didn't enjoy school much due to trivial teachers and a general lack of effort in subjects he was not interested in. After graduating college at the Swiss Federal Institute of Technology in 1900, he became an assistant physics professor at the University of Zurich. In the years that followed, Einstein published multiple papers, which among many things presented his theory of relativity. This discovery made him a celebrity in the world of science and math, and established him as a representation of the quest for knowledge. Einstein was also involved in politics at the time. He strongly advocated Germany's republic, but with the introduction of Nazi ideas, found that he could no longer support his homeland and moved to New Jersey to continue his studies at Princeton University. In the years that followed, he abandoned his former policy of pacifism and advocated for the use of force against the Nazis and Adolf Hitler. In 1939, he sent a letter to Franklin Delano Roosevelt warning him of the dangers of the nuclear bomb if the Germans were to use it. Einstein's fame and outspoken support for the State of Israel prompted a request for his presidency and a bust in his honor to be commissioned by the Chaim Weizmann Institute of Science to commemorate the achievements of the world's most famous Jewish scientist. Einstein declined the offer, but the bust was built by Robert Birks in 1955. During the project, Birks started to realize that a complete sculpture was necessary to show the true meaning of Albert Einstein and his vast achievements. Israel disagreed and only paid for the bust, but the idea did not leave Birks' head for decades. He stated that to show Einstein was more than just a mind, he needed a body to show context. Birks proposed statues both at Princeton University in New Jersey, where Einstein had done most of his work, and on the grounds of the Smithsonian, but neither wish was requested. Eventually, during the centennial of Einstein's birth, a full statue was erected near the National Mall on the grounds of the National Institute of Science. Initially, Einstein's statue seems out of place on the National Mall. The other monuments there are much more majestic and grand, overshadowing a shabby scientist staring off into the distance. We asked this couple whether they planned on seeing the Einstein Memorial or merely stumbled upon it walking through D.C.
We just came from Lincoln.
Walked by.
They had just come from a bigger and more impressive monument and merely stopped at this one to see what was going on. We asked whether they thought Einstein was being honored as much as the subjects of the other monuments, and whether or not the statue could have been improved in any way.
Yes, it's a little less honorable, yeah. I mean, we were allowed to climb on it and all of that.
Yeah. Do you think it pays tribute to him and what he's done? Do you think it could be bigger and better for what he's accomplished?
Definitely could be
Yeah,
bigger and better.
It doesn't look like a nice statue.
Yeah. It's kind of just sloppy.
Yeah.
The one we interviewed before called it the mashed potato statue.
Okay.
It does look like mashed potatoes.
Yeah.
Together.
We were just talking about that. We were like, oh, this one's not that nice as we were coming up.
Yeah.
So.
We had agreed that the statue reminded us of mashed potatoes, but we found that was part of the appeal of the Einstein Memorial statue. Einstein's ruffled appearance and textured body makes him appeal to a younger audience in a more personal way than the other statues around DC. This mother of two called it
interactable,
Yeah.
you know?
Because I see your kids really like
Yeah,
it.
they do like it, but it seems pretty cool to me. But
Yeah.
he's close.
Yeah.
Close
Did you?
enough. I mean, we came to go see the Lincoln Memorial, and he's
Yeah.
right here, so we've seen it.
Okay, so you didn't know it was here before, right? So
I
you
didn't,
kinda-
but I wasn't looking for it, and there's probably 300 things I don't know.
Yeah.
It seems not so formal the way
look at
he's
that.
sculpted.
Yeah, he's kind of just chilling.
Birks wanted the project to be interactive. When you first see the statue, it's informal.
But when you stand in the middle and look at his face, his eyes are staring down to you, regaining the godlike image. When asked about the location of the memorial itself, we all agreed that it was sort of pushed to the side. The regal memorials and monuments around him, like the Lincoln Memorial, the Washington Monument, and the Vietnam Memorial, which had "Do Not Step on Grass" signs, are looked up to, and have tourists that are looked down upon for playing on them. Einstein had many people playing on him at all hours, making him seem a little less respected. The fact that he is hidden behind trees and a busy street adds to that point even more.
However, despite the statue's unflattering appearance and lack of regality or formality, it accurately represents the qualities of Albert Einstein that are remembered. He was not one who put excessive stake in how he appeared. He was even often called a cartoonist's dream come true. What Einstein cared about was wit and morality, which are both present in this humble yet awe-inspiring monument.
On the back of the memorial, 3 quotes are inscribed hidden from view. It says, "As long as I have any choice in the matter, I shall live only in a country where civil liberty, tolerance, and equality of all citizens before the law prevail. Joy and amazement at the beauty and grandeur of this world of which man can just form a faint notion. The right to search for truth implies also a duty. One must not conceal any part of what one has recognized to be true."
These quotes are not in plain view when looking at the monument. This adds more to the theme that you have to look to find knowledge. We asked this man whether he thought the Einstein monument was the correct size or whether it could have been a little bit bigger. He asked us a question of his own.
Well, let me ask you something. When you look at Einstein, do you feel inspired?
I don't know. Well,
No, do you?
well, thinking about all he's done, I do.
Well, then the statue's the perfect size.
This man's point about Einstein's monument means that you can view it 2 ways. You can look at the surface and see a goofy man and take pleasure from that, or you can see deeper, as Einstein would have wanted you to, and see what the man really contributed in his life. This idea can also be applied to many other aspects of Einstein Memorial. For example, if you look at where Einstein's feet are, you can see a model of the solar system surrounding him.
On the dais of the statue, you could see over 2,700 metal studs embedded into the granite. They represent the location of the sun, moon, planets, 4 asteroids, 5 galaxies, 10 quasars, and millions of stars. Although it did not have any personal meaning to Einstein, these objects are the exact location at noon on April 22, 1979, when this memorial was dedicated to Einstein. When you stand in the middle of the dais, it looks as if you and Einstein are making direct eye contact, and if you speak, you can hear an echo. This makes him seem godlike in contrast to the modest location.
In conclusion, while Albert Einstein's monument may not be the biggest, most respected, prettiest, or most aesthetically pleasing in DC, it accurately portrays him as the man he really was, which cannot always be said about monuments. He was a shabby, modest, and wise scientist who could not be simply read by his cover, and who changed the world permanently. He will forever live in all our memories.